Hello, my name is Wetzel, and I'm a full-time college student who unlocked Orion Camo within 10 days. There's lots of hidden shortcuts and tips to unlock Orion faster, and that's what this video is for. If you're here for a certain part or a challenge, I've included timestamps so that you can get what you need and continue on. With that out of the way, let's get started. The truth about Orion Camo is that most of your grind is going to be towards weapon XP. This is because the challenges for a weapon are often quite easy and it doesn't take you very long. However, leveling up a weapon will take you longer. Currently, there's 51 weapons in the game, and if you took just an hour to level all of them up, it's still going to take you over 2 days of in-game playtime. The first thing that you could do right now to earn more weapon XP is to equip these 4 different things in your loadout. This is the Decoy Tactical Grenade, the DDoS Field Upgrade, and then a UAV and a Counter UAV. These 4 different things basically work together to earn you passive XP while you play the game. For example, the decoy grenades can be used around enemies to farm XP. Additionally, when an enemy is killed near a decoy grenade, you get more XP. And then using the DDoS around enemies is going to give you more XP. Lastly, when you call in UAVs and counter UAVs, every kill by your teammates is going to give you 10 XP. If you have both called in at the same time, that's 20 XP. If you combine all this in a fast-paced game mode like Hardpoint, or even Shipment, which comes out later in Season 1, you are going to fly through the ranks even with the worst weapons. Now, something else to consider is that, hands down, when it works, Invasion is the best game mode to get weapon XP. Ideally, this is where you want to level up your assault rifles, LMGs, marksman rifles, DMRs, snipers, and even the riot shield, but only when it works. To make it work, basically what players do is they take their weapon, they flank all the way around the map, all the way behind the enemy spawn, and they find these spots basically where helicopters are going to drop off bots. What's crazy about this is that killing the AI gives you the same XP as killing a player. So again, these players find these spots where the helicopter drops the AI off, they kill all 6 of the AI, and then within a few moments, another helicopter comes back. They kill that wave of AI, and it repeats over and over and over. Now, some caveats to this is that sometimes you have teammates who also want XP, and of course, you have to make the entire trek around the map without being shot. 2 different things that help me in this is bringing along a tactical insertion, because it basically gives you a checkpoint to spawn back in, and then also using the map to your advantage. Lots of these have huge bodies of water or just huge portions of the map that are unused. So being in these areas to run around the map can be pretty useful. Let's talk about the riot shield for a quick second, because I did mention that just a moment ago, and this is one of those things where I didn't realize it until it was too late, so I just want to help you and save you some time. The riot shield is low-key really good for invasion, because basically when you get shot at by these bots, you get 50 points. So if you were to take a riot shield, go up to a group of bots, you can just sit there, get shot at, and earn quick passive XP. Because with every few seconds that they shoot at you, you're getting 50 more XP. After a couple of moments, the XP is going to start to slow down, but you can simply counter this by just going to another bot, or perhaps even another group of bots, and then it'll go back to giving you 50 XP. Now, speaking about things I wish I knew earlier, let's talk about launchers. Because in this game, destroying UAVs is not enough to level up launchers. You're going to have to put in some kind of active work to level these up. Earning kills with launchers also helps, but you only get 2 rockets. So one thing that I've found to help is that when you're out of rockets, you basically go into melee mode, right? The launcher is a 2-hit melee kill, but you can make it a 1-hit melee kill. To do this, you would go into your loadout and you would equip the throwing knife. Now when you go to melee enemies, it's going to be a 1-hit kill. So hopefully it makes it a bit easier. And with all that out of the way, I could finally stop saying the word XP, and we can finally talk about gold camo. When we're looking at the most efficient use of your time to earn gold, this is what's going to be the fastest. For ranged weapons, you go into Invasion, kill bots, and for short range weapons, you'd either play Hardpoint or Shipment. Using either of these methods, it should take you anywhere from 2 to 5 games to fully level up a weapon. 2 to 5 games is kind of wide. This is because some guns only have 15 levels, whereas some guns have over 30. In terms of pacing, you don't have to level up the gun fully. You only have to bring it up to 1 or 2 levels below the max. And at this point, most of, if not all of the challenges will be unlocked to complete. After that, you would head into a 6v6 mode, do the base challenges, and then the gold challenge will open up. Most of the base challenges are easy, but I do want to talk about a few of them. For example, you do have to get mounted kills, but not as much as previous titles. Regardless, one thing that helped me was using the deployable cover, because it allows you to mount up and get a head glitch on basically any part of the map that you choose. If you didn't know already, there's also a sniper that requires you to get hipfire kills, which is probably the most painful challenge, and even when equipping all the hipfire attachments, I still cannot get any kills. So you can do either of two things. One of them is to basically run into enemies and barrel stuff them, or the other is to stand still so that your crosshairs are as small as possible and try to get at least a half decent shot towards your enemy. And then lastly, another challenge that may piss you off is getting kills behind enemy players. If you know what I'm talking about, this is going to be tricky for some players. I personally had to get mine by stunning enemies and then trying to run around them, or I would just sit in corners and wait until an enemy passes. Yes, it was very embarrassing, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get the camo. And of course, I cannot make this guide without talking about melees and launchers, because on these you have to get multiple kills without dying. The easiest launcher to do is a javelin, because you can pretty much just spam rockets onto the hardpoint and get easy double and triple kills, but some of the others like the Strela were a complete pain in the butt. You really have to either play like a rat or just let the matchmaking tank you down the ladder. Because of course, when you go for gold launchers, the game is going to notice and they're going to eventually give you enemies that don't shoot back. So when you go to do the launchers, I would recommend doing them all at once, because when you think about it, it's quicker to go down the ladder once than it is to go down it 4 different times. Yes, it's going to be a drag doing them all at once, but it's going to save you a great amount of time. Also, don't forget the knife and the riot shield, and you should be all set. If you have every gun gold at this point, I'm pleased to announce that most of your grind is passed. Platinum Camo is split up into 3 different types of challenges. For every weapon that shoots, you'll have to get anywhere between 20 to 25 long shots. For the launchers, you'll have to shoot down anywhere from 10 to 25 different score streaks. And for your melees, you're going to have to get 2 kills within 10 seconds. First, we're going to talk about long shots, and what you need to know is that the distances to earn them are different. Snipers obviously have the longest distance, which is 50 meters. Assault rifles, battle rifles, marksman rifles, and LMGs all have a long shot distance of 38 meters. SMGs have a distance of 30 meters, any pistols will also be 20 meters, and then lastly, shotguns are going to be 12.5 meters. Also, these distances are set, they do not depend on what attachments you run. Speaking of attachments, there's one that helps out a lot. This is the Extend Angel 40. The reason this sight is so good is because it has a rangefinder. So if you want to see how far an enemy is, you would aim down the sight and it tells you. Now for getting the long shots, this may all come down to taste. Like for pistols and shotguns, it's definitely doable in 6v6 modes, but for everything else, even the SMGs, I went to Invasion. You can also play Ground War too. Something nice to pair with this is the deployable cover. Of course, we're not getting mounted kills here, but still, mounting on the cover is going to take away most of your recoil and allow you to beam enemies across the map. Now the way that I actually played Invasion to get these long shots is that I would get up behind a wall that faces the enemy. Getting on a rooftop is often unproductive as you're instantly sniped off of it, and what really helped me was killing enemies from the side. Most of them are running to some kind of building, some kind of cover, whether it be a ladder to get on a roof, and all I would do is just sit back and take advantage of this. Often I'd be able to get 4 or 5 long shots before dying, in which I would just go back and restart. And now a little more painful, we move on to launchers. When I was talking about the challenge, I only mentioned score streaks, but you do also have to get equipment and vehicles. The problem with this is that both equipment and vehicles just seem to be glitched. I've taken out field upgrades like munition boxes, I've destroyed proxy mines, I've destroyed many tanks and other vehicles, and it just doesn't seem to track. So the unfortunate truth is that you can only destroy kill streaks. Now I mean, for the Pila and the Joker, it's pretty self-explanatory. You see a UAV, you lock on, fire, and it's done. But what about the Strela? And what about the RPG? Because how are you going to hit a UAV with those? Well, it turns out you actually can, even though it's very hard. And if you can't, there's still a second way to earn platinum. But yes, you totally can. For both this and the Strela, I'm going to show you a couple examples of what worked for me. That way you can go back and replay it and see how far you'll need to lead in your own games. The RPG was definitely the hardest one to shoot down UAVs, but it is certainly possible. Now for the Strela, it's a little bit easier. You don't have to lead as far. For this, I found that you don't have to shoot very far in front of the UAV, but you do have to account for bullet drop. If you actually line up the UAV with the dots that are on the bottom left of the scope, that will usually work for the UAV. The Strela and the RPG is something that you're going to have to practice, but once you get it down, it becomes very, very satisfying. Now, alternatively, if you cannot take down these UAVs, if they're just that much of a pain, I would take a look at other score streaks. For example, in Invasion, most enemies are calling in something like VTOLs and chopper gunners, and those are also perfect opportunities. Now, the caveat to this is that most of them don't take 2 rockets to destroy. So what I've found to actually combat this is by using a setup that has an LMG, and what I equip on the LMG is incendiary rounds. You'll hear the call out, an enemy VTOL is inbound, blah, blah, blah. So you pick the class, you respawn, and you're gonna start shooting at whatever's in the sky until it starts smoking. And then when it smokes, you take out the launcher and finish it off. Super helpful for stuff like the RPG, because you already know I did not take out 10 UAVs with the RPG. There is no way. And 25 UAVs with the Strela? Nah, that just did not happen. I'm being honest. I used the VTOL and the chopper gunner. Lastly, I cannot forget the melees. You have to get 2 kills with them in 10 seconds, 10 times. I'm going to recommend you play an objective game mode like Hardpoint, where everyone's focused around an objective. And also, I am again going to mention the ladder example. If you didn't watch that part of the video, I'm basically saying, let the matchmaking take its course. The game knows that you're trying to get platinum on this. And after enough times failing, it's going to help you out. Take advantage of this and only go down the ladder once. Do both the knife and the riot shield in the same play session. Use your stun grenades, abuse dead silence, and you should be in good shape. I personally wish you the best of luck. Congratulations, we are on the final part of the journey. Unlocking Polyatomic on all 51 weapons will earn you Orion. It's actually not so bad, you just gotta get 25 headshots on all guns that shoot bullets, 10 kills from behind on melees, and then double kills with launchers. I think I take that back, it's not so easy. Getting the headshots is pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, there's no attachment to give you bonus headshot damage like in past titles, so you'll just have to get them straight up. Now, if you've made it this far to Orion, I'm not going to talk to you like you're 5, tell you to go to some custom games, warm up your aim, put it on headshot only, high health, whatever. That's just insulting. You've made it this far, you can get these headshots, I know it. There's also the kills from behind for the melee weapons. I don't really need to go into huge explanation for this. Essentially, this is just one of those other challenges that don't involve a crazy strategy. You just have to rely on getting into lobbies where enemies don't shoot back or bother to wear headsets. Ideally, you should be playing objective modes like Hardpoint, where enemies can be easily flanked, and also make sure to abuse dead silence and stuns. The real problem comes when you're trying to get double kills on launchers. And why is it such a problem? You get 2 rockets, you can kill 2 enemies, right? Nope. Well, I thought it would be like that, but then I realized that every launcher reloads so slow. Even if you have fast hands on, no launcher reloads fast enough to get a double kill, except the RPG. So for the RPG, yes, you can run around, shoot someone with a rocket, reload, and immediately go to the next, sure. The Javelin was also pretty straightforward. What I did was play Hardpoint, and I would go onto open maps, for example like Hydroelectric, and I would get all my double kills there by just spamming the Hardpoint with Javelin rockets. But for stuff like the Strela and the Pila, it's not that easy. And with these, I implemented an interesting strategy. How I did it was I would go up to an enemy, I would melee them, so just bash them with the rocket, and then immediately go to fire the rocket at another player. You can eventually get the timing down. You just melee a player, and then instantly look around for an enemy in sight. If you see him, shoot at him. Sometimes you can get lucky, and you can score 2 players with a rocket. But it doesn't always happen, especially for the Strela. It really sucks because you only get a window of about 3 to 5 seconds to get a double kill. And given that you can't reload another rocket in time, it makes it a huge challenge. So I found really the only way to do it is to either get 2 kills in 1 rocket, or to just melee an enemy and then immediately shoot a rocket at another player. If I'm being honest, this set of challenges is going to take you the longest out of any other category in Orion. So if you're only getting like 2 or 3 double kills per game, just stay the course, you're doing well. With these, it is a very slow process and luck does contribute a lot into it. And of course, I wish the best for you. Try not to pull your hair out, you will get this eventually. Do not give up, especially after coming all this way. And after all of that trouble, you finally have the Orion Camo. And if you don't have it yet, good luck. Stay tuned for more guides. What's allowed?